Hi, Lorna here from Maritime UK, and I'm joined this afternoon by Colin, who is going to talk to us about how his career started. Afternoon, Colin.
Afternoon, Lorna.
Can you give us your full name, your job title, and tell me who you work for, please?
Yes, Colin Bassam. I'm now the training manager at the Port of Blyth, representing Port Training Services.
Fantastic. So, what drew you to the maritime sector in the first instance?
Well, it was a funny situation, Lorna. I'd been studying. It was O levels at the time when I was at school, and I was debating whether to stay on at school and do A levels, because I was at the grammar school at the time, and I was expectations that I would do A levels and go on to university.
Yep.
During the summer, because I live at Blyth, there was an opportunity came up to work at the Port of Blyth, and it was just basically a filling in job. I was curious and applied for the job, and I got it. And it was for a shipwright carpenter at the time on the port. The port at those days was doing a lot of coal, so there was a combination of things. It was repairing the infrastructure of the port craft, but also building new structures, new jetties and stuff like that. So once I got into the job, it was a totally new experience for me and really fascinating, and it was quite well paid at the time. I think it was a time when the government would give you a rise as soon as inflation went up, you got a rise. So my pay started in the August, and by the October I was a couple of pounds better off. So, but it was the diversity of it all, the opportunities. If I look back on the time, I think it wouldn't be my first career choice, but once I was into it, I grew into the job. Then from there, all the opportunities, the apprenticeship in terms was mainly about port infrastructure. So it gave us a good grounding, about tide work and infrastructure of the ports and all of that, strengths of jetties, bollards and all that sort of thing. And then in 1989, that was back in 1974, 1989, when the Dock Labour Board scheme was finished, there was a desperate rush to get people across into the cargo handling side. And then I was transferred across to that. So it was like starting again in some respects.
Yeah.
But I'd worked my way up to a certain position. And then I started from that. So I was just a general dock worker for several years, and then got promoted through the ranks to that, to a foreman, a supervisor. Till eventually I was appointed deputy operations manager. So I was like overseeing all aspects of the port, the labour allocation, plant planning, all of that aspects. And then I thought I'd be set for life. An opportunity come across. I came across to go and work in the Middle East. So I left my hometown, never been really away from the Northeast, and then went into the United Arab Emirates and working for some big container terminals over there. And I was a bit, I was, to be honest, I was a bit apprehensive, thinking, I only know what I know at Blyth. That's all I've learned, really. And then going into the big international shipping requirements. But I think that knowledge that I gained, overall knowledge and good grounding, held us in good steads, because there's nothing I didn't really know about port. I'd covered up general cargo infrastructure and all that, and did really well there. And again, I thought I would be set for life over there doing that, but an opportunity came. Family things didn't settle up, so I ended up coming back to the Northeast, and that's when I got involved with training, because there I saw that my expertise that I'd gained gives an opportunity to train other people. And there was a lack of formal training within the ports at that time. And we wanted to address that. So we started looking at doing formal qualifications, NVQs, apprenticeships, and I've been heavily involved in development of them. And now we're in a position now where we're one of the main deliverers of the port operations, NVQ and apprenticeships. So that was basically my journey. And if I think back to those days when I remember walking down on the dock and thinking, would it have taken us around the world? Would it had the experience I got? I didn't envisage that. But now in hindsight, I'm pleased I took that step.
So you've answered most of my questions, actually. What's been your career highlight?
I think one of the things, I think that there's not just one specific thing. I think one of the things is that satisfaction of helping other people and guiding other people. We acknowledged in 2010 for a Health Work and Wellbeing Award by working with traditional dock workers and trying to improve their diet, exercise and stuff like that. And so we've got a formal recognition for that. But my overall passion, like every day that motivates me to come to work, is to enhance the people, you know, like Kai, who we've just spoken to, for them to maybe go on a similar journey that I've done, you know. It's not just a job, there is opportunities. And because the ports are worldwide, you know, you're not limited to just your local port and you have that experience. It is a challenge at time working in the ports because it's not standard hours. You know, I think one of the challenges for everybody is the unsocial hours, irregular hours. But it's never the same. Every day is different, no. You know, even if you know, vessels are different, weather's different, the work's different. So it is an interesting environment to work with.
Is there a single person or a couple of people that were really important in your career journey that really made a difference?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of managers particularly that I've worked with who see something in you and give you that encouragement. I think here in the port, originally, when I started as an apprentice, which was traditional, actually the very first person I worked with was a guy who was in his 60s when I started working with him, and he had lost an eye during the war.
Oh my goodness!
He was a one-eyed carpenter. That's what I used to call him. But he was, you know, obviously he had worked in the ports in the late 1920s, 1930s.
Right.
So that infantry, even though I was starting in 74, I was still getting like taught some of the stuff that they did in the 30s and in the 40s, and I'm still got that knowledge which I can now pass on to other people. So there was that part of it. But then later on, when you gain that knowledge and you're unsure, I'm thinking, well, this is just standard knowledge. And then there's certain managers within that role, Davy Heatherton, who was one, and Ian Robertshaw, who were the chief executives. I recognised your drive and ambition and what we were able to encourage you to go on rather than just like get stifled and just say, oh, that's your role, you're not going to go any further. And I think sometimes within the ports, they need to have that recognition of ambition and to go on. Some people will probably quite happily just stay in the same role all the time. But I think when the opportunities are there, I think people need to be encouraged to take them.
And if you had the opportunity to give your 16-year-old self a piece of advice, looking back, and if it makes you feel any better, I did O-levels too.
Yeah.
What would that advice be, Colin?
I think I would have more confidence in myself and to challenge, you know, to take things on. Just don't just sit back and just expect this is my lot, this is my position. Look for those opportunities and take them, you know, and have some ambition because they are there. Don't just, because I think a lot of people just don't think, oh, this is my lot, but there's not. There's always going to be opportunities, and have and once you do know something, you know, have that confidence in what you know. Particularly, you know, I think with relation as, you know, if you can imagine, I started probably before the Health and Safety Work Act was actually in place. I started in 74, that was just being, you know, put out. But now there was a lot more requirements to comply with health and safety, but have that confidence that you do know that and go out and learn more and source knowledge and information, you know. Yeah. That's what
it's difficult though. That's not something you can tell someone, is it? Be more confident if you feel nervous or if you're lacking in confidence. But if you're getting that advice and someone's telling you that they really believe in you and you're on a pathway, there's a careers theory which is called planned happenstance, and you'll like this. It's about recognizing opportunities when they present themselves, keeping your eyes and your ears open, making the best of the opportunities that you're given, and then recognizing that there's potentially another door opening just over there and following that rather than being blinkered on one particular route. But you've just described planned happenstance, so there you are. Wow. Every day's a school day.